The biggest mistake people make when manifesting a specific person is forgetting that as you move into this new sense of self, the way that you see the world is going to change, as well as the way that people in your external reality see you, that's also going to change. And a lot of the times we don't take it this seriously because you are going to have a completely new sense of self, which is going to result in a completely new reality being reflected. And this is actually what solves this concept where people would manifest back their specific person, but then think or ask, but they're not showing up in the exact way that we want. Well, if this is the case, we just need a further change in our sense of self. Because how are you seeing the world? Are you seeing the world as someone who is single? Or are you seeing the world as someone who is in a relationship or married to their specific person, as well as everyone around you? Do other people see you as someone who is single or as someone who is in a relationship or who is married? When you have a true change in sense of self, you're going to see your entire reality reflected. Now, to begin, as we make this change, we will find people around us don't immediately act in the way that we want unless we have a quantum leap to this reality. So if you are just starting out and kind of changing your perception of yourself and the way that you're seeing your reality, and you're still seeing your friends or family talk against that or assume you as someone else, that's okay. I actually just got off the phone with someone earlier talking about this, how they would talk to their friends and they would just repeat back to the old story. So if this is the case, I would keep your entire manifestation a secret. Do not tell anyone until you feel this complete change in sense of self. Because when you talk to other people about your manifestation, truly all that we're doing is trying to get reassurance that we can do it, but you don't need reassurance. If you need reassurance, come back to one of these videos. But I want you to ask a specific question, or I'm going to ask you a specific question, that's going to show how we are actually making this transition from someone who feels single into someone who feels as if they're already in a relationship with our specific person. So here's the question. Well, let's say that your specific person does not text you, okay? You do not get a text from your specific person. You text them and you don't receive one back in this current moment. So I want you to ask yourself, how would a single person view this situation? How would someone who is single look at this situation happening? And obviously, we're going to know the person who is single is going to see it in kind of a negative light, right? They're going to be thinking, assuming something bad or horrible is happening, like our specific person doesn't like us, doesn't want to be with us, something like that. But then I also want to ask you another question. How does a married person see this? Okay. And now we're going to get a totally different effect. If you're married to your specific person and they don't text back right away, how is the view different from someone who is single as compared to someone who is married? And you're going to say that someone who is married sees it a lot differently. They're going to basically not worry about this at all because you're married to this person. Obviously, they must be busy, they must be doing something else, and they're going to get back to you in the best way possible. Or they want to wait until they're back home where they're going to come back to you and tell you to your face, okay? So this is the difference between being single or a single state and a married state. Because then being single or being married, how do people view you when you are single? And you can begin to think about it. They might view you, they might tell you to date this person, or they might ask you about your love life, ask you when you're getting married, things like that. But when they view you as someone who is married, how is it different? Now, they may ask about your relationship, and things actually might not be that different, but they're going to see you as someone who is loved and abundant, okay? And when you do act this out and you refuse to let anything in your external reality get in your way, you are going to find people shift in this way. You are going to be seeing your entire reality totally differently. And it actually has to do with something, a little side note, has to do with like frames. So when you want to change your reality in this way, especially when it comes to like quickness or speed or without any effort, you have to have the confidence to feel this way no matter what is happening. Okay. You need this confidence. And so even if someone talks against it, says, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in this perfect relationship, and someone else says, yeah, who is it with? But you're someone who's single, things like that. Now, this idea of frames coming together is something that's going to help us out a lot. So whenever two people kind of come together, or you have this new assumption and your reality hasn't completely conformed yet, you're actually two frames running together. And whoever is the most confident is going to win out. So if you want to change your reality, change how your friends see you, change how your family sees you, all you have to do is stay in a very healthy confidence of the idea of you being in a relationship, and you're going to see everyone kind of shift or begin to take your own understandings or your own beliefs to them and basically reflect back the positive self-concept rather than the negative. Because what usually happens whenever we go, let's say even in this video after, you're like, you know what? I'm going to just live in the end. I'm going to feel as if I'm already with my specific person, and we just do it. What happens when someone outside of us says, okay, yeah, but you're not this. Yeah, but that's not that. How's your ex doing? Things like that. Stuff that's going to take us out of the state. We immediately feel what? We feel down. We feel bad. We feel as if it's not working, but this is not the case at all. Remember, every single goal, every single manifestation that you could ever do is going to be unseen before it is seen. So all you have to do is continue and stay persistent in this, stay confident. Who cares what everyone else has to say? Basically, you need the courage to be disliked, which is a cool book if you wanted to check out, by the way, anyway. But basically, we need this courage to act and feel as someone who already has our specific person, which I know sounds strange. Basically, the courage to feel massive amounts of happiness and feel massive amounts of being loved. And when you do this, you are going to see your entire reality begin to shift. Because another cool little metaphor to really kind of bring it home and make it so you never ever forget to do this is to basically imagine being a caterpillar who morphs into a butterfly. Right? There's nothing that you're bringing with you. You are completely different. You are completely changed. The way that people see you is completely changed. And then think about a caterpillar to a butterfly. A caterpillar cannot look at the view of a caterpillar, right? They're in the tree, on the ground, things like that. When you become this butterfly, you are seeing from a totally different angle. You are seeing totally different things than the caterpillar. The caterpillar is restricted in every single way to seeing what the butterfly sees. But this is you moving into a new state. And so that's why I always mention never worry about how you're going to manifest your specific person or how it's going to come into your reality unless you're in the state. It literally will not matter. You will never know and never be able to see the how, which again, we never have to worry about it, but you'll never be given like divine guidance on how to go from caterpillar to butterfly if we're not in the state of it. So it's just something to remember. So don't be downtrodden if people in your external reality are not fully embracing you as your new version of yourself. Persist in it. Refuse to let other people kind of drag you back because they're really only repeating back your limiting beliefs. So if we don't want those anymore and we want the passion and the motivation and the confidence to remain where we're at, look at that and just laugh. Just laugh at people telling you or thinking that you're something you're not, because then you basically have a little secret of you knowing that you're changed, you knowing that you're with your specific person, and this is what's going to result in them manifesting in your reality. So basically, think about it in this way. Are you okay with ignoring everyone around you if it means to be with your specific person? If yes, then you're good to go and use that as motivation to not allow anyone outside of you to pull you back into a previous state. And seriously, it is just as easy as this, but everything that you see, so the way you see the world and the way the world sees you is going to be completely different. So take these examples and start acting them out or create your own examples. So if your specific person calls you, how does a single person see that? How does a married person see that? You go to the supermarket. How does a single person go to the supermarket? How does a married person go to the supermarket? And I know these seem very simple or obvious, but when you start thinking about it, you're going to get into the state more and more because you're going to be thinking and acting from a married person's state, because you can't actually answer that question if you don't move into the state of being someone who is married. Like if I were to ask you, how does a married person go to work? right? You have to mentally imagine and become someone who's married and go to work in order to relate to that or even imagine and answer it. So always keep that in mind. It can be a really cool technique to keep us in the state. If you did have any questions on this, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I'll see you in our next video tomorrow.